Buying a house can be so annoying. Constantly searching and looking, and when you find your dream house, somebody pays 50,000 over asking and you lose a house. Don't make your home search harder than it actually is. Listen carefully to these 5 mistakes first-time home buyers make so you can avoid them. And pay attention to the last one, which is probably the most important one. Let's jump into the first one. Waiting for market to crash. It's close to impossible to time the market. We all have predictions, but nobody actually knows what will happen with the housing market. 3 years ago, when I got my real estate license and I got my first listing, I held an open house. A couple showed up, they seemed interested in a house, but they thought it's just too much and they would rather wait a month or two to make an offer on this house. The house literally sold the next day with multiple offers and for the record price in that neighborhood. Within these 3 years, I saw these people coming through my open houses at least 5 to 6 times, and they're still waiting for market to cool down, which just isn't happening, and in the meantime, home prices increased by 25%. If you are financially able to buy a house, there is absolutely no reason to wait. And you're gonna say, of course you will say that because you are a realtor, but this is the advice that I would give to my closest friend. Real estate has cycles like everything else, but it goes up over time. Many people bought a house in 2006, 2007, right before market crash. But even with the market crash, their house doubled or tripled in value from 2006 till now. And keep in mind, when something large happens like real estate market crash, it's usually related to jobs, inflation and other things. The market doesn't just crash and everything else stays the same. Or maybe you're just using this as an excuse because you're afraid to commit yourself to home ownership. Nonetheless, for average person, buying a house is a great wealth building tool and a hedge against inflation. If you're planning on living there more than 5 years, it definitely makes sense to buy. Next mistake people make is splitting hairs. So what do I mean by that? A lot of times buyers will look at small cosmetic issues rather than big ticket items like roof, foundation, driveway, windows and similar. I had people telling me they don't like a dirty carpet but they like a light fixture or vice versa. And that light fixture was like 60 bucks on Amazon. Who cares? Don't make a decision based on small things. You as a buyer have to do a research. Don't be like most people looking at small things when making a big decision. But let me ask you this, which house would you rather buy? This one or this one? The problem is everyone wants a move-in ready home. You're not the only one. Nowadays the standards have also increased, and when you say a move-in ready home, people usually think of a completely renovated home. But those small things can be changed easily. Carpet, painting, light fixtures, that's all easy fix for the most part. Hardest things to change are layout, structural issues, roof, plumbing. Those things can be very pricey. The funny thing is, a lot of times homes will be marketed as completely renovated and they just changed the flooring, painted the place and added a few light fixtures. Your goal as a buyer should be to get the best deal possible to build equity in the long run. One bonus tip is to look for homes with ugly pictures. Sometimes buyers won't even schedule a showing if the home isn't presented nicely. The uglier the photos, the less competition you have as a buyer. There is one thing that's almost impossible to change, and that's location. Which brings us to the next mistake people make, and that's not considering the resale value. Life is unpredictable. Most people buying a house are not thinking they will sell fast, but life events can make that decision for you. And it doesn't have to be anything tragic. A lot of times people sell because they have another kid on the way and they need a bigger house, or they got a promotion in another city or a state. After all, house is an investment and you have to have an exit strategy. Like I mentioned, location is very important. It's not everything, but it's a huge factor for most people. Take a closer look at schools nearby, public transportation, hospitals, access to highways. A lot of investors like to say, buy the worst house in the best neighborhood, which I highly agree with, especially if you're looking to live in that house. It doesn't have to be falling apart, of course, but we are going to the previous one when I said to just look for a home that needs some love and care. This way you will move forward when most of your competition will back out because of the stain on the carpet. Again, look for big ticket items like location, layout, square footage, as these things are hard to change. Next mistake first-time home buyers make is doing everything themselves. You should talk to multiple people when it comes to buying. This includes lenders, realtors, friends and family as well. A lot of people just go to their bank and ask for pre-approval. Different lenders may give you different rates and different advice. Your home buying process should start a lot sooner before you start going out there, seeing houses and making offers. Especially if you are self-employed. It will take some time for a lender to see what exactly do you need in order to get approved for a mortgage. Based on your income, debt, credit scores and other things, they will see what is the most amount of money you can get approved for. See what your payment is and ask yourself if you feel comfortable with that. What are you giving up, if anything, to be able to afford this? Also talk to a few different realtors, look them up and see if they're actually selling something. Realtors are also a great source to ask for title companies, attorneys, lenders and similar. Let's jump into the last mistake, and you probably saw this coming. Don't let emotions drive your decision. A beautifully staged home can create an emotional connection, but make sure to look beyond the decor and assess property's overall condition. And everyone likes a nice big house with amazing finishes and a large backyard you can host your parties in and have people come over. As soon as you start looking to buy, it will seem like everyone else got into their dream home before you. The grass is always greener. You don't know someone's real financial situation. So many times people will spend too much just to keep up with someone. I'm not going to be sitting here giving you financial advice, but don't over leverage yourself. This is how we are being sold. They're using our emotions against us. Not just with real estate, but with everything in life. Even me, I make emotional decisions all the time. But take a step back, relax, sleep on a decision. Especially when there are multiple offers. This is how people overpay for a house. I remember one of my listings sat on the market for 45 days. After multiple price reductions, we had 3 showings in a same day. And we got the first offer that night. I called the other 2 agents that showed the listing to say we have an offer and we are setting deadline for tomorrow morning. We got 2 offers that night and we ended up selling for what we originally listed at. Here's the truth, buyers are more likely to overpay than to underpay, unfortunately. People like to compete, it's a human nature. And once the house has multiple offers, people are gonna be asking, what do we need to do to win? But remember, just because there are multiple offers doesn't mean it's a good house. It can be really frustrating and challenging to buy a house. And a lot of things I probably forgot to say in this video. But don't give up, keep educating yourself and keep believing. Because your dream home is just around the corner. But how can you increase the chance of getting an offer accepted? Watch this video to find out.